Today we're covering a hot topic. How do you rank in generative engine optimization? By that I mean generative engines like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Copilot, Perplexity, and more. In this video, we're going to talk about some of the things that we know about the topic. First, let's start with some of the basics. Generative engine optimization is a lot like search engine optimization in that the first thing you need to be able to do is make sure that your content can be found, easily understood, and selected as a credible source so that it can be used by the generative engine in its responses. Now, one of the things that's different about generative engines is they like to look at context a lot, as well as relevance. Now, AI models, they don't just look at the keywords that are associated with your content. They're looking at the entire context. Your content should be rich. It should include facts and figures. It should be comprehensive. It should be well-sourced, and it should scream credibility. Now, what's interesting is that's a lot of the things that we saw on the SEO side with EEAT, experience, expertise, authority, and trust, something that's said over and over in the Google Quality Rater guidelines. When we look at medical sites, when we look at financial sites that rank well, they do a really good job of this. This is also similar to what's important for generative engine optimization content to be evaluated well. Now, for example, if you're creating content about a product, it can also be helpful to do things like use structured data to highlight features, showcase reviews, showcase pricing, showcase specifications about the product. The more detail, the better. Even if you state how you compare against other products, the generative engines will pick up on that and use that in their evaluation process. I can't tell you how many times I've seen lately a generative engine responding with something like, this product is expensive, so you might not like it. Or this product generally doesn't have a great reputation in this category. If you have them saying something like that about you, you want to make sure you fix it if it's incorrect. So we talked about well-written, authoritative content that comes from credible sources. But it's not just about doing that on your website. It's making sure that this is the same story that's told on all the websites that talk about you around the web. If the majority of the story around the web is telling something totally different, such as you have really high prices when you don't, there's a very good chance that the context of that stamp of information will make an impact on the generative engine, and it will say that you're high priced. That's why it's so important that you monitor all these things and you make sure other websites tell the correct information about your product, which is why digital PR is so important for generative engine optimization. Don't forget, generative engines can understand images, video, and other types of multimedia. At the end of the day, when it comes to generative engine optimization, you definitely want to start focusing on it. You want to make sure you tell the right information on all of your web pages and you source all of the information and have credible information that's being put out there on your own website. You also want to make a concerted effort to make sure that around the web, they are telling the correct story about your brand in all the areas that matter. One further point that's really important to take into account is these generative engines will tell you where they're sourcing information from. Now, if they're telling you where they're finding this information, it's important that you reach out to those same areas and make sure they're telling the correct story so that the next time the generative engine crawls that information, they bring back the correct story to their responses. And you can simply direct them about this. That's it for generative engine optimization. If you'd like any help, reach out to Ignite Visibility. We'd be happy to help you out. See you next time. Goodbye.